This is WPTV, William Patterson Television.
Welcome back to the desk. Another week means more NFL action. And here to break down what's been happening is Fritz Napoleon, Joe Purdy, Andrew Balistreri, and Trent Troller. Guys, when the end of the season comes around, that means we see the inevitable firing of head coaches around the league. We've already seen Josh McDaniels, from the Raiders get fired. But Fritz, starting with you, what head coach do you think is in the hot seat right now to get fired?
Yeah, one head coach I definitely think is going to have a lot of eyes pointing his way is Sean McDermott from the Buffalo Bills. Look, they just haven't been a good football team at this point. They've been wildly inconsistent, sitting at 5-5, and you just never know what Josh Allen you're going to get when you step out on the field. And look, just take a look at their next matchups that they have coming up. They have the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Chargers that, they lost to the Broncos, so that can be a good game. That can be a pretty hard game for them.
Let's rock.
They have the Jets, Cowboys, and Dolphins coming up. They can very easily miss the playoffs. So next year, I definitely think it's going to be a make or break year for that team if they miss the playoffs. I think Sean McDermott's going to have a lot of eyes looking his way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was happy with that Broncos win, as you can imagine. But, Sean McDermott didn't look the greatest. Andrew Balistreri, who do you think is on the hot seat right now?
I'm going to keep in the AFC East. I'm going to go with Bill Belichick. Ooh. It's a shocking answer here for, of course, this is a very hot take. But, he's an old man and he's lost his touch. He doesn't have his poster boy quarterback anymore. This game has officially passed up Bill Belichick.
Wow.
And it's fine, man. I mean, he's got his rings. He's got plenty of money. Like the last 2-3 seasons do not tarnish his legacy at all, in my opinion. But the Patriots, they're going to be lucky to win another game this year. This guy's 70 years old. The guys, they need to rebuild. Get this guy. Let him retire.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, I mean, it's been questionable for the Patriots as of recent years. Mac Jones has not looked the best under his, coaching. I know that Josh McDaniels left, so that screwed things up. But Bill Belichick could be one that might get the boot. Joe Purdy, over to you. Who do you think is getting fired?
Yeah, now taking it across the country to the west, Brandon Staley of the Chargers
I don't like that answer.
Might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but when you look at the skill that the Chargers have, Herbert, Eckler, Allen, and on defense, it's really being wasted because of the coach's inability to connect with his team. And you can see they've had a disappointing record, disappointing season so far. Can't really tell what's going to happen, but right now, if it goes downhill, then I'm not sure what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, see, I would love for the Chargers to keep Brandon Staley because that means the Broncos could get more wins over them.
There you go.
Trent, finish us off for this one. Who do you think is on the hot seat?
I've been waiting to get this off my chest for a while, but Robert Saleh has to be on the hot seat right now.
What?
You have to look at every single game he's been in this season. Every single win he's had hasn't just been an actual win. It's a comeback late in the game because you can't even finish a game right. Your offense is terrible under him, and you can't use the excuse that, he's a defensive head coach. A head coach is still a head coach. They need to orchestrate the whole team. Even if your defense is good, your offense is still the worst in the NFL right now. And Aaron Rodgers or not, you still have to have a good guy behind him to play. And Zach Wilson was not that guy. On top of the fact that your stubbornness, thinking you're right, obviously we'll play C.J. Uzomah. He's a team leader. He's a great locker room guy. That doesn't matter when he's killing your game with holding calls all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's been questionable for the entire Jets organization. But, we're in the thick of the NFL season now. Week 11 is underway, and normally we'd see a frontrunner for a variety of year-end awards, including MVP, but this season it just feels like there's no one that really stands out to win it. Starting with you, Trent, who do you think deserves to win MVP this year?
I mean, on a more positive note from before, I think just a little bit more positive. I do think Jared Goff is up there for one of the guys. I mean, I think Lamar, Hurts, they're close as well. But Goff is a guy who's really helping push this team, who's been mediocre for years and pushing them to a next level. And he's kind of the centerpiece of an offense that is really one of the best in the league right now in a year where there's a lot of mediocre quarterback play. He's a bright spot.
Yeah, Jared Goff, I mean, he's been a big factor for those Lions. Fritz, over to you. Who do you think gets MVP at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a back-to-back MVP for Patrick Mahomes. I still think that he's one of the best, if not the best player overall in the NFL right now. He has 17 touchdowns, 8 picks right now, which is a lot for him. It is, but they're sitting at 7-2. And I think that he'll be able to clean up the statistics, probably have a couple more touchdown passes to end the year. And one thing I do like is that he's elevating players around him. Rashee Rice, breakout year for him, 4 touchdowns on the year. Of course, Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. That's one of the best tandems that we've seen probably in history. So I think that Pat has the opportunity to clean up those interceptions and possibly end this year off with the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. I hope it doesn't happen. I really would not like to see that. But, Angel Balistreri, over to you. Who's your MVP?
Give me the second best quarterback in Texas, Mr. C.J. Stroud, leader of the Houston Texans. Listen, man, he's having one of the best rookie seasons out of a quarterback I've ever seen, probably better than Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert, who probably had the best quarterback season. Looks like he's going to be breaking all those records. He has 17 total touchdowns to just 2 interceptions, and one of those interceptions came just last week, so he had 1 interception the first 9 weeks. I mean, he's making guys like Nico Collins and Noah Brown look like they could be Pro Bowlers over here. Noah Brown never had more than like 30 yards in a game as a Cowboy, and all of a sudden he's going for 150. But overall, I don't know if he'll actually win it because, they just want to give it to poster boy Mahomes or maybe Jalen Hurts for the little tush push. But quarterback play has been down this year, like Trent mentioned. So I definitely think he has a chance, especially if they can come out and win that division.
I agree. I would love to see a rookie win MVP. It would be awesome to see, especially C.J. Stroud. He absolutely deserves it. Joe Purdy, we've seen 3 quarterbacks taken out. Are you sticking with quarterback or are you going elsewhere for your pick?
No way. I'm seeing quarterback. That's honestly all that everybody thinks. But taking the spotlight away from them, I'm going to go with somebody that just makes explosive plays every single game. Christian McCaffrey has just been absolutely insane throughout his entire career. This year, he's leading the NFL with rushing yards with, I think, just about 750. He's leading all running backs with touchdowns. He's just able to make that big play at any given time. And also, countless amounts of weeks that he's won me in fantasy. So,
I respect a man who determines his opinions based on fantasy football. But those names are in in the spotlight as some of the best in the league. But we've got one unsung hero this season. My Denver Broncos quarterback, Russell Wilson, has been amazing this year. And Andrew Balistreri, I'm forcing you to take us through his season.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Russ's stats from like the 4-6 Broncos or whatever they are this year.
4-5, just under 500.
He's got 67.9% of his passes completion, 1,806 passing yards. He's got 18 passing touchdowns, and let's take a look at those interception numbers. Down quite a bit from last year, just 4 interceptions so far this year. And also those passing touchdowns, I remember he only had like 11 or something last year.
He had 16 total last year.
He had more bathrooms in his house last year than he did have touchdowns. This year he's killing it, I do have to tell you.
Look, new year, new Russ. Russ is back to being a top quarterback in the league. And I want to start
about that, yeah.
And Andrew, I want to go back to you. What's the reason for this?
Well, this happens to be a new coach over there in Sean Payton. He happened to coach one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Drew Brees. And, it's a big difference than, having somebody like Nathaniel Hackett, who is, a perennial loser, as we see with the Jets. Wow. He finally has a real coach again, which is nice. He went from Pete Carroll to, this bum in Hackett, and now he's, finally got someone real. The numbers, as we mentioned, look a lot better across the board this year. Payton has an actual offense. Hackett's scheme is god-awful, as we see with the Jets. And, he's starting to look like the Russ of Seattle. That pass to Cortland Sutton the other last week was phenomenal. And, it's good to see Russ cooking again.
I agree. I'm loving seeing Russ cook. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I love hearing you all talk good about the Denver Broncos for once. Joe Purdy, over to you. What's the reason for Russell Wilson's improvement this season?
Yeah, well, over the past 2 years, including this year, obviously, he's really gained more confidence, more trust in his receivers. Mm-hmm. He has a competent coach now. I'm sure that he's had some history with him. Now, his O-line, now he knows he's been with these guys for now 2 years. I think he really just needed a year to get everything together, new team, new whole atmosphere, literally because they're all the air, right? No pun intended. But that really, that big confidence boost just allowed him to just do what he does best. Yeah,
I mean, look, man, I'm just going to, Trent, what's the reason for Russell Wilson's improvement?
So Russell Wilson's doing well, not just because, sure you could give him the coach, say he's doing better. Let's talk about the real guys who are doing well for him. It's the offensive line. I may be a little biased in saying that, but good quarterbacks only happen when they have a good offensive line. So I think it really helps that they went out in the offseason, got Mike McGlinchey, one of my favorite signings in the offseason, and got to talk about Division III stud,
Yes.
Quinn Miners, one of my favorite linemen in the league right now. So you really got to say he's had great protection. So that helps out a lot for any quarterback.
Absolutely. I was very happy with the offensive line moves they made, and the improvement from Quinn Miners, like you mentioned, has been incredible to see, especially in the run game. But Fritz, close us out for this one. What's the reason for Russ's improvement?
Yeah, one reason I definitely think Russ is doing so much better this year is his decision making. Like mentioned before by Bally, he had 11 picks last year, only has 4 right now, okay? So he's definitely improving with his decision making, not turning the ball over a lot, but his passer rating is definitely up a lot too. At 100 right now, last year was at 84.4. So when you do have that great O-line and you do have a quarterback that's making more decisions and being protecting the football a lot more, that's definitely going to lead to a lot more wins. So we'll see how the Broncos finish out this year. If he keeps cooking, if they keep rolling, we'll see what happens with that.
I mean, I can't wait to see how the season closes. Let's be honest, I'm probably going to end disappointed. That's just the nature as a Broncos fan. But, you know, closing it out, this week is full of great NFL matchups, but there's one that stands out. A rematch of Super Bowl 57 with the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Geha Field at Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Taking a look at how the two teams compare, Eagles scoring 28 points per game to the Chiefs' 23.1. Points allowed 21.7 for the Eagles compared to just under 16 for the Chiefs. 390.4 yards for the Eagles compared to 378.6 for the Chiefs. And 1.44 turnovers for the Eagles to the Chiefs, almost 2. And, you know, Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs ended up winning it 38-35. But starting with you, Joe, who do you think ends up taking this matchup?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, how both teams have been playing, it's definitely going to be a close matchup, but I do have to take the Eagles here. You know, none of the Chiefs receivers, I don't really see them getting too much space between Darius Slay. The Eagles have a great secondary. Jalen Hurts, you know, nobody can really stop the tush push, so that's going to be another big component. So, yeah, no, I just don't really see it going well for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard, but Trent, moving over to you.
So I'd just like to preface this, much like recently. Last time we talked about the Chiefs and Eagles playing, on this desk I was made fun of for saying that the Chiefs wanted to win more and that's why they would win.
It happened.
I'm going to say it happens again because I was right about that. And I'll say I will be right again in that the Chiefs will want it more and they will win.
Hey, I mean, whatever gets them the win, but Fritz, moving over to you.
Yeah, I definitely think the Eagles are going to take this one. Look, that team has just been on a roll. I think they really have the defense to get after Patrick Mahomes, so I really think that they're going to take this one.
Bally?
I completely disagree. I think the Chiefs are going to win this one. The Eagles are not going to get their revenge. Listen, Arrowhead is a very, very difficult place to play. And, you know, listen, both teams are coming off a bye. You know, the Chiefs, of course, losing to the Broncos, taking a tough loss. The Eagles did not get a good win against the Cowboys. They almost blow an 11-point lead with just 5 minutes left. That's not good. And the Eagles don't really have many good wins this whole season. I think the Chiefs have looked a lot better. Hurts' knee is still banged up as well. People aren't talking about that as much. And, you know, who knows? This might be a Super Bowl preview, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to quickly close this out and say I'm taking the Eagles. I can't bring myself to pick the Chiefs. But that's all the time we have for the NFL. Up next, we'll pass it to the WP basketball crew here on Sports Desk.